What is depression? Depression is a mood disorder that affects the way you think, feel, and behave. It causes feelings of sadness or hopelessness that can last anywhere from a few days to a few years. This is different than being upset about a minor setback or disappointment in your day. Some people may experience mild depression only once in their lives, while others have several severe episodes over their lifetime. This is more serious.
Main divisions of the nervous systems are the central nervous system that is made up of our brain and spinal cord, which is connected to the peripheral nervous system that includes all the nerves that are in our body. When stimuli affect a nerve, the signal is sent through the nerve to the spinal cord and up to the brain. The brain processes this information and then sends a signal back the other way.
Depressive disorder, frequently referred to simply as depression, is more than just feeling sad or going through a rough patch. It's a serious mental health condition that requires understanding and medical care. Left untreated, depression can be devastating for those who have it and their families. An estimated 16 million American adults, almost 7% of population, had at least one major depressive episode in the past year. Hippocampus is a complex brain structure embedded deep into temporal lobe. It has a major role in learning and memory. It is a plastic and vulnerable structure that gets damaged by a variety of stimulus. Amygdala is a part of the brain that facilitates emotional responses, such as pleasure and fear. In people with MDD, the amygdala becomes enlarged and more active as a result of constant exposure to high levels of cortisol. An enlarged and hyperactive amygdala, along with abnormal activity in other parts of the brain. Prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is located in the very front of the brain. It is responsible for regulating emotions, making decisions, and forming memories. When the body produces an excess amount of cortisol, the prefrontal cortex also appears to shrink. The researchers found that the medial prefrontal cortex helped the coordinate self-appraisal processes by regulating activity in another area of the brain known as the posterior cingulate cortex. Serotonin. Serotonin acts as a neurotransmitter, a type of chemical that helps relay signals from one area of the brain to another. An imbalance in serotonin levels may influence mood in a way that leads to depression. Dopamine is an extremely famous neurotransmitter working in your brain. Whenever you want to learn anything about neuroscience, dopamine always comes into the discussion, sometimes called the molecule of happiness. Dopamine tends to be the scientific explanation for why we can be happy or experience satisfaction. Cortisol is a corticosteroid hormone that is released by your adrenal gland during stressful situations. When the stress does not last very long, the levels of cortisol in your brain dissipate. While it is still unknown if and how cortisol affects serotonin levels or other aspects of depression, cortisol is important in another way for people with depression. It has been found that people with elevated cortisol levels are less responsive to psychotherapy treatments, implying that techniques that may reduce cortisol levels, such as stress management, would be an important part of a depression treatment. Psychological symptoms. The psychological symptoms of depression include continuous low mood or sadness, feeling hopeless and helpless, having low self-esteem, feeling tearful, feeling guilt-ridden, etc. Symptoms. The physical symptoms of depression include moving or speaking more slowly than usual, changes in appetite or weight, lack of energy, low sex drive, changes. Social symptoms. The social symptoms of depression include
Not doing well at work, avoiding contact with friends and taking part in fewer social activities, and having difficulties in your home and family life.